You're ready, Mr. Lessie.
Thank you, Your Honor, and if I could please address an administrative matter that I wish I didn't have to address. Dr. Welcher was just using, at least my observation, his computer. He still has monitors on his desk. Could we have all that removed, Your Honor?
It was
Closed, yes.
Would he open?
So did you just turn it off?
No, but I will. I closed it. You want the computer all the way off or just
Is he
everything?
going to need to turn his computer back on?
I do not see a need for the computer to be turned on. Do we have the ability to put the presentation and documents from our
So I'm
sub?
going to see counsel at sidebar,
Sure.
please. During the lunch break, I'll ask you to remove those monitors, okay?
I'm sorry?
During the lunch break, I know it takes you a while to set up in the
Yeah.
morning. I'm going to ask you to take all that down during the lunch break,
Thank you.
okay? Thank you.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Welcher, we left talking about the amendments you made to your PowerPoint presentation. And in terms of the amendments, are you aware that the defense counsel received your amended PowerPoint presentation at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day? Are you aware of that?
No.
And you began testifying the day after yesterday, correct, sir? Day after Memorial Day?
I testified yesterday.
Yes. Are you aware of any activity in this trial of any kind before you testified yesterday?
Again, as I mentioned, I've been getting random emails, and then I've been seeing it pop up on my news feeds as well. But once I was aware of the reclusion, I made sure to not review any of that. But as recently as last night, I got an email that said biomechanical engineering job, or like applying for a job, and I opened it up and it was some internet troll.
Sure. I'm asking about emails from the prosecution.
Oh, no, there's been no emails about what's been going. I mean, there's been scheduling, when am I going to come, things like that.
How then was it determined that you were going to be able to amend your power presentation if you weren't communicating with the prosecution?
I mean, they asked me about the witness statement of 138 right around May 13th.
How did they ask you about that, sir?
I don't recall if it was a Zoom meeting, a phone call.
So there was a communication with the prosecution. Might have been by Zoom, might have been by another method, but there were communications while this trial is going on relative to you amending your PowerPoint that ended up with an amended PowerPoint on May 13th. Do I have that correct?
I believe so.
I'm going to switch topics.
Okay.
One of the goals of Aperture's analysis and reconstruction was to determine the location and timing of certain Techstream events, correct?
Correct.
EDR data.
I'm sorry, my role.
Your role, yes. EDR, and just for clarification, EDR is Event Data Recorder, correct?
Correct.
So I'm going to refer to that, as you have before, as EDR, Event Data Recorder.
Sounds good.
EDR data does not show the location associated with a Techstream event, correct?
In this particular vehicle, it does not.
And the EDR data for this particular vehicle, namely the Lexus SUV, also does not provide the time associated with a Techstream event, correct?
Not at the time of this event.
So the answer is no, correct?
That is not correct.
So let me ask the question slightly different way. The EDR data does not provide the time. The EDR data for the Lexus SUV that you've been talking about does not provide the time associated with a Techstream event, correct?
That is correct.
Instead, every Techstream event is associated with a particular key cycle on the vehicle, right?
Correct.
There can be multiple Techstream events in a single key cycle, right?
Correct.
And every time you start the car, this one you push the button, that's a new key cycle, right?
That will cause a key cycle.
And the EDR data indicates the number of seconds into the key cycle that the particular event occurred, correct?
The EDR data, no.
So EDR data gives you no information about the number of seconds into the key cycle that a particular event occurred.
You're confusing EDR data and Techstream.
I'm not, sir, I'm just
Oh, you're not?
asking a question.
So
If it's yes or no, I'm fine with that.
EDR data will, depending on the vehicle, sometimes it has information about GPS date and time. Sometimes it has ignition cycles, which are a little bit different than key cycles, which is why you frequently have different ignition cycles versus key cycles in EDRs compared to Techstream.
So let me ask it a different way.
Okay.
The Techstream data indicates the number of seconds into the key cycle that a particular event occurs.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
In order to properly determine the location and the timing of a Techstream event, it's important that you correctly identify the trip that is associated with a particular key cycle, correct?
I think I'm going to say yes, that Techstream tells you the trip.
I'm just asking if it's important that you correctly identify the trip associated with a particular key cycle. And do so by determining, in order to properly determine the location and timing of a Techstream event.
So the Techstream tells you the trigger event and it tells you the key cycle. So I'm not determining that, I'm reading that from the Techstream data.
Okay, so in order to properly read, to use your verb, the location and timing of a Techstream event, it's important that you correctly identify the trip that is associated with a particular key cycle. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's a fair statement.
If you associate the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, then your estimate of when the Techstream event occurred will be wrong, correct?
It can. I mean, you need to take the totality of the evidence in the Techstream with the mileage, the overall timing into account.
So are you saying, sir, that if you have the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, you can get the correct Techstream event?
No, not necessarily. Again, you have to take the totality of the data.
My question is with regard to if you have the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, then your estimate of when the Techstream event occurred will also be wrong. Isn't that just a matter of logic, sir?
So, again, the Techstream event tells you the trip and it tells you the time. If you're saying I'm, say, associating that with the wrong infotainment information or vice versa, then that would be wrong. But the Techstream data tells you how much time is associated with each trip. There's no difference there.
If you associate the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, then your estimate of where the Techstream event occurred will be wrong. Is that correct?
You can't associate the wrong event with the wrong key cycle because it keys in the key cycle with the event.
Let me try it a different way. your analysis or anyone's analysis in conclusions regarding the timing and the location of the Techstream data are only as good as your ability to correctly associate a key cycle with a particular event. Is that an accurate statement?
No.
Oh, so
Again, you need to take the totality of the data. So that is one element. You need to look, for example, at the mileage. You need to look at the timing of the events. So this is considered a tool in the analysis process. You need to look at the totality of data to see how it matches up with the physical evidence.
So are you saying that you can have an incorrect key cycle with a particular trip, but you can still get accurate timing and location of Techstream data?
So again, you don't get incorrect key cycle with the trip. The trip and the key cycle are coded in by the Techstream. If you are attributing an event to the wrong trip, which has a fixed key cycle, that could be a problem.
Exactly. So if we could go, if Your Honor, if we could publish a slide, please, that is in evidence.
Okay,
Thank you.
what are we looking at?
Pardon me,
What
Your-
slide number?
I've got slide 9. Mr. Wolk, yes, I've got the correct one. Thank you, Your Honor. So I'm going to use the acronym VCH that you've used on your, do you recall using the acronym VCH on your direct testimony?
Yes, sir.
And VCH stands for Vehicle Control History, correct?
Correct.
You viewed the vehicle control history on September 23rd of 2024, correct?
In addition to the PCS data.
You viewed the vehicle control history on September 23rd, 2024. Yes?
That is yes.
You took photographs of the vehicle control history, including key cycle 1167.
Correct.
And in this screenshot, we can see 4 Techstream events that
Actually,
are...
can you zoom in on the key cycle?
Oh, sure.
Because I think when I got to, no, scroll. So when I got to it, you can see it was that key cycle 1264. The blue highlight was the last file that was written on key cycle 1167.
Right.
So
But-
to answer your question, I got it at 1264.
So if we can go back so we can see the 4 Techstream events. I just want to reestablish the foundation here. In this screenshot, we can see 4 Techstream events that are associated with key cycle 1167, correct?
Correct.
But isn't it true, Dr. Welcher, that there were actually 10 Techstream events associated with just that one key cycle 1167?
Correct. I gave you the original files.
Right. So you are aware that the Commonwealth had maintained up into your firm's engagement that...
Are you saying there's no basis for the question? All right, I'm going to allow the question and I'll hear it.
You are aware that the Commonwealth has maintained up until your engagement in September of 2024 that all Techstream events associated with key cycles 1164, 1165, and 1167 occurred while the Lexus was in the custody of the Massachusetts State Police at the Canton Police Department.
So the objection sustained, you need a foundation, Mr. Lessie.
Sir, as part of your work in your review of the many documents that you referenced on your direct examination, did you review the Techstream events associated with the Lexus SUV?
I reviewed the one I downloaded.
Pardon me?
I reviewed the one I downloaded.
Right, and did that, what you download, include key cycles 1164? Did it include that?
It did.
Did it include 1165?
It did.
And did it include 1167?
It did. It did not include 1166.
I didn't mention 1166, sir. I only mentioned 1164, 1165, and 1167. I purposefully skipped because I didn't understand you had reviewed it. So here's my question. You therefore, based upon the fact that you reviewed them, and you said it's important to understand timing, etc. That's very important in your forensic analysis, correct?
Yes, sir.
So let's go to the timing question and you understand where the Lexus has been at various points in time. You testified to that in direct, whether it was at the Canton Police Department, whether it was being towed, correct?
In addition to having Mr. Burgess' analysis of the data.
In addition to Mr. Burgess' analysis, so in that analysis contained locations of where the Lexus had been.
It contained where it had been, and also include date and time, when it was turned on, when it was turned off.
Exactly. So not only did you have all the locations, you had dates and times associated with the location where the SUV, the Lexus SUV, had been, correct?
Correct.
Now to the question. Based upon that review, that knowledge, that understanding, that those bases, you're aware, and you've reviewed, by the way, Trooper Paul's reports, correct?
I have.
There were 2 reports of Trooper Paul. There was his original CARS report and then a supplemental report that were listed in the documents you reviewed. Do you recall that?
I don't recall that, but I'll take your word for it.
I don't want you to have to take my word. Do you recall, sir,
No, I
that there
don't.
were do you recall that there was a report of Trooper Paul?
Yes,
Okay, and you read that report, I assume, sir?
I did.
And it would be important for you to read that report and read it carefully because it addressed the subject matter that you were addressing, correct?
No, I did my own independent analysis. As a matter of fact, it'd probably be more important that I don't do that to avoid confirmational bias.
But you did read Trooper Paul's report,
Of
correct?
course.
So, you therefore are aware that the Commonwealth has maintained up into your engagement.
Yeah, I'm going to see a sidebar on this.